So the other day, I was doing my daily morning routine of being on my phone for 40 minutes, and then I came across a Chipotle ad, and then I was like, whatever happened to Chipotle? Because like I used to see Chipotle all the time. Like everyone used to talk about Chipotle all the time, and now nobody like talks about Chipotle anymore. Like what's up? What's up with that? Uh, so here's a 6-minute video on consumer behavior food trends.
Crazy. Roll another one. Fall off in the spot.
Consumer behavior in food trends basically means analyzing how and why people choose what to eat and how these choices change over time. There are several reasons that cause consumer behavior to change so constantly. The main factors being price, social media, health concerns, and convenience. These trends can include anything from people buying healthier food, like plant-based food, to simple fast food delivery meals. Businesses pay close attention to these patterns because they help predict what products will sell and how to market them. Businesses are constantly changing strategies and switching up their investments and marketing based on what is currently trending. Consumer behavior is important because food choices affect consumers, businesses, and society as a whole. For example, if plant-based foods are the current trending consumer behavior, it will affect all three groups differently. Businesses will start to invest in and market more plant-based foods, which can affect both pricing and farming production. Consumers will generally buy these plant-based products more because it is being invested into more and is more available slash what is trending. And society will be affected as a whole, having a positive impact on both public health and the environment. People will be eating healthier food and thus will be generally healthier on average. And the environment would also be positively impacted as less animals would be being killed for food and plant-based foods use fewer resources. Uh, at the same time, however, if a trend like fast food or highly processed snacks were to arise, then companies would invest in those things, and this would lead to negative impacts on general health and lead to things like high healthcare costs. So there are four key terms for consumer behavior, and that would be trends, which are the general direction that something is moving over time. Demand, which refers to how much of a product people are willing to buy at different prices. Incentives, which are factors that influence people's choices, like price and advertising. And consumer behavior, which is the study of how people make buying decisions. An example of this would be the rise of plant-based meat products like burger. As more people become interested in vegetarian diets, demand for plant-based products increases, and in response, companies shift more focus and funding towards creating more and higher quality plant-based meals, even leading to fast food chains offering plant-based meals. And this example kind of shows how companies are constantly adopting or adapting rather to their consumers' behavior and why it's so important that it is studied.
I'm in love. True is the drug. You gon' judge.
A recent article from the New York Times talks about how fast casual restaurants like Chipotle and Cava are starting to lose customers. While mainly due to the fact that their food has gotten so expensive, a majority of their meals now costing roughly anywhere between $13 and $20. This is also due to the fact that their food has been on a trend for so long that people are starting to get tired of it. This in turn has led to more and more customers thinking twice before eating there. The article also talks about something called bowl fatigue, which is where people are getting tired of eating the same thing over and over again. This article connects directly to consumer behavior and food trends because it shows how people's choices can change based on both price and interest. These types of restaurants was really popular for a while, especially because they were seen as both healthy and customizable. But now, as prices go up and the trend ages, the interest seems to be going down. And this again reiterates how demand is almost never permanent. Both this and the aforementioned bowl fatigue goes to show how any trend can only last so long, and sooner or later people will get sick of it and will move on to the next thing, which again highlights the importance of watching and analyzing consumer behavior and food trends. Now, there are a few different groups that are affected by this. First are the customers, because they have to decide if the food is still worth the price. Then, of course, the companies themselves, like Chipotle and Cava, since fewer customers means less monies. Workers and suppliers could also be impacted as businesses try to cut costs or slow down production on certain foods. And even investors are involved since these changes affect how well the companies are performing financially. Now, this all matters because it shows how quickly food trends can change and how much price really does affect people's decisions. It also kind of connects to bigger economic ideas like inflation, since rising costs are a part of why food trends are changing so much recently. And overall, it shows that businesses have to constantly make adjustments, or else they're guaranteed to lose customers.
Cash on me, I walk in here with the swag on me. Them racks on my jewelry shining like it's glass on me.
For my practical application, something I'd like to focus on is how much you spend on food, especially with how expensive trends recently can be. For example, if I spend $15 a meal and go out 4 times a week, that's $60 spent over the week. And over a month, that's $240, which is a lot for something that could have been a lot cheaper if you just planned it out better. Uh, it's since it's really over to overspend while going out, I would instead only eat out once or twice a week, and then that would essentially cut in half the aforementioned cost. And then with that extra money, you could buy the groceries that are not only healthier, but will last you longer than one meal. This all being said, with the overall goal to balance convenience and cost, I wouldn't say ever to stop eating out entirely, but to be more intentional about it so you aren't spending hundreds of dollars without realizing it.